the honorable of all participants who are able to attend this meeting from universities in Indonesia. To start our meeting today, I would like to invite Universitas Negeri Padang Vice Rector 1, Mr. Naldi, to give welcoming speech.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon and good morning in Scotland. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'il mursalin, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi rasulillahi ajma'in, amma ba'd. The Honorable Professor Junaidi, as the Deputy Director of Project Management Office of Emancipated Learning, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, the Honorable Mr. Rory McDermott as the Head of Recruitment and International Office, University of Strathclyde, Scotland. Sorry for mispronouncing the name of the university. The Honorable Mrs. Shannon Persage as the Study Abroad Recruitment Manager, University of Strathclyde. Representing directors of Universitas Negeri Padang, it is my pleasure to welcome you all, the participants, to join our partnership meeting today. So, as the representative of directors of Universitas Padang, I would like to say thank you very much and high appreciation addressed to the deputy directors of Project Management Office of Emancipated Learning, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, Technology, and our university partners, University of Strathclyde, Scotland. The Indonesian International Students Mobility Award Program is one of the priorities schema programs from the Directorate General of Higher Education of Indonesian government. And one of our students was awarded from this program, and she had been staying in the University of Strathclyde, Scotland for 6 months. Thank you very much for your hospitality and very well take care of her. Yeah, Mrs. Shannon and Mr. McDermott. We are happy because we are a part of this program, and we will support this program. One of the purposes of our meeting today is to introduce one another and to discuss collaboration opportunities between universities in Indonesia and universities of Strathclyde. I hope our today meeting can be running well and be a great starting point to cooperate with the university. Hopefully, we can work together and positively contribute to higher education services shortly, especially in Indonesia. Once again, I look forward to collaborating with you to develop international program in our university. Thank you. One brigade from Universitas Negeri Padang. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Rector. Next section, before coming to the next section, I'm delighted to inform myself as a proud awardee of Indonesian International Students Mobility Award from Universitas Negeri Padang to study in University of Strathclyde for about 1 semester in Scotland. And it was a wonderful experience for me to join this program. I know that University of Strathclyde and all the staff support me well and let me know and explore more about Scotland's culture and a new global academic atmosphere, which I never experienced before. Lastly, I would deliver my high gratitude to Shannon and all the staff at International Office of University of Strathclyde for all support for me and other awardees in our exchange journey in Scotland. Now let's move to the next section. I would like to invite Professor Junaidi as Deputy Director of Project Management Office of Emancipated Learning, MBKM, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. So thank you, Azraela. Please just call me Junaidi for short. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to Shannon and Rory. Yang saya hormati Pak Refnaldi, the Vice Director for Academic and Student Affairs of Universitas Negeri Padang, and also our dear colleague from Strathclyde, Shannon and Rory, and also our dear friends, all the head of international office from Indonesian universities participating in 2021 IISMA program. I'm very delighted to attend this meeting after 1 year of IISMA program. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the purpose of IISMA is to offer opportunities for participating universities in the IISMA program to collaborate with IISMA partner universities, which are the top universities in their country as well as in the world. So this would enable all participating universities a golden opportunities to discuss and explore possibility of collaboration. We do hope that with this program we can have a different program like IISMA-like program in the future, conducted by either a consortium of Indonesian universities or individual universities participating in the program. High on the agenda would be possibility of, for example, student mobility, staff mobility, joint research, and so on. Although it may be challenging for Strathclyde students to do physical mobility to Indonesia, but I think we can do a virtual mobility, in different courses offered by Indonesian universities. Of course, from the Indonesian perspective, University of Strathclyde is not new. Many of professors or graduate students have been studying in University of Strathclyde. So, and I myself know well the quality of University of Strathclyde. So for this meeting, I encourage all our colleagues here in Indonesian universities, prepare your best proposal to Shannon and Rory for a future collaboration with Strathclyde University. And also to Shannon and Rory, please consider this proposal. There will be a lot of them, and some of them may be similar. So if you could find ways so that the participating universities can collaborate with your fine university, so that would be great. So in short, once again, I'd like to thank Pak Retnaldi for hosting this event. Thank you so much, Pak. And also, I'd like to say also thank you to all head of international office attending this meeting. Hopefully, you will have a fruitful discussion and concrete activities can be explored so that future or in the near future we can hear collaboration between University of Strathclyde and also participating university in IISMA program. So have a wonderful discussion. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Junaidi. Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed to the next section, I would like to invite all participants to open the camera in order to capture this memorable moment, and we are pleased to see your best smile in the camera. There will be two sections of taking pictures. Start from the first slide. We will still waiting for seconds until everyone open the camera. Right. In 3, 2, 1. Finish. Right. In the second slide, we were still inviting all participants to open the camera so we can see your beautiful and handsome faces. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. Finished. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next section is video profile from Universitas Negeri Padang.
Universitas Negeri Padang, established in 1954 under the name PTPG Batu Sangkar. UNP's vision is to become a reputable, internationally recognized university.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Professor Ganefri, PhD, Director of Universitas Negeri Padang. Welcome to Universitas Negeri Padang. The impact of technology and the industry nowadays have triggered Universitas Negeri Padang to develop sustainable programs. Universitas Negeri Padang focuses on education and qualified teaching process, research and high-quality publication, and community services that give advantages to the society.
Universitas Negeri Padang has 8 faculties. They are the Faculty of Educational Science, the Faculty of Languages and Arts, the Faculty of Social Sciences, the Faculty of Economics, the Faculty of Tourism and Hospitality, the Faculty of Engineering, the Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences, the Faculty of Sports Science, the Graduate School, the campuses of Universitas Negeri Padang are spread across 7 areas in West Sumatra. Universitas Negeri Padang has equipped facilities and infrastructures, such as a main library with digital services, an auditorium with a capacity of more than 8,000 seats, swimming pools and sports fields of national and international standards, and laboratory schools from kindergarten to senior high school.
Hello everyone, nama saya Maria Adeline Doroin. I'm from Capital State University, Philippines. It's worth to remember and worth to share to the world. Mabuhay UNP!
Other facilities include a medical clinic, international student dormitories, the UNP Hotel, a mosque, a business center, and a teacher education center.
We are studying in different faculties at UNP, and we are very proud to be international students here at UNP. We love UNP!
In order to improve the quality of its graduates and be an international level university, UNP equips itself with laboratories supported by sophisticated equipment, a center for developing students' soft skills and creativity, as well as adequate practical and training facilities. The campus of Universitas Negeri Padang also provides facilities for students with disabilities. Some of the achievements made by UNP in the last 4 years are as follows. UNP won the 5th national rank for research and publication in Indonesia, the best work unit in managing the state properties. Top 3 national level for social media management. First winner of informative state universities in Indonesia. Director of Universitas Negeri Padang won as the Achievement Motivation Person from the Information Commission of West Sumatra. Top 10 universities in assisting tourism villages in Indonesia. UNP students become champions at the 28th national level Musabakoh Tilawatil Quran. Universitas Negeri Padang got an award as an informative public institution from the Indonesian Information Commission. Universitas Negeri Padang won First Public Information Openness Award from the Information Commission of West Sumatra. Director of Universitas Negeri Padang won as an Achievement Motivation Person from the Information Commission of West Sumatra. Universitas Negeri Padang was awarded the top 5 state universities towards informative awarding of public institution information openness at the national level. First winner of National Quality Assurance. Top 2 of services through the internet for state universities in Indonesia. Top 1 of public information openness at the West Sumatra level. Best asset management among 720 work units in the region of Padang. Universitas Negeri Padang won as the best state university as Public Service Agencies Award for the category of activity and budget program. Top 1 at the National Dance Festival. First winner of the Sumatran Regional 1 Robot Contest in Pekanbaru. Runner-up in Energy Saving Car Contest and Best Newcomer. UNP received an award from the Ministry of Research, Technology and Higher Education of the Republic of Indonesia as the organizer of the Energy Saving Car Contest. First winner of the 8th Indonesian Tourism Competition in the category of Tourism Advertising Video. Medals for swimming at the National Student Sports Week. Top 3 at the national level students Musabakoh Tilawatul Quran. First winner of the critical debate competition in Sumatra. Runner-up of the National Scientific Writing Competition. UNP has also succeeded in organizing national and international events. Universitas Negeri Padang grows and develops with the motto, Alam Takabang Jadi Guru.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, there was about video profile of Universitas Negeri Padang. Now we're moving to the main section of this meeting. The explanation presentation by University of Strathclyde will be started by Shannon first, or Rory.
Well, thanks, Azraela, and thanks everyone. And that was a really good video as well to give us the overview of Negeri Padang and all the achievements of the university. So that's been really informative. Before we go into the presentation, I thought maybe Shannon and I just quickly introduce ourselves, and then we have some slides in between Shannon and myself. We will kind of share the presentation duties as we go through. But to kick off and just to introduce myself, my name is Rory McDermott, head of the Recruitment and International Office here. We have 4 faculties who each have international teams within each of those faculties as well. And we'll explain this structure a little bit more in our presentation. But certainly today, what we're really keen to do is treat this as an exploratory meeting and find out where there are potential synergies and areas of mutual interest between Strathclyde and obviously the institutions represented in the meeting today. And then Shannon and I are happy to look at more focused meetings and look at bringing in maybe some of our faculties or other relevant colleagues to discuss more detail as we progress. So I think this will be a really good starting point for, I think, an opportunity to build a lot of rich and meaningful collaborations with Indonesian institutions. So thanks so much for coordinating and arranging this meeting today. And in terms of my background, I've got a special interest in our partnerships in Indonesia, because in the past, working at a different university to Strathclyde, I was lucky enough to spend quite a bit of time in Indonesia. So I used to visit Jakarta mainly, but I did actually visit Padang at one point. So I did spend a couple of days in Padang. I was visiting, I think it was Andalas University at the time. This was maybe back in 2015 or 2016. But a great city, and I was taken out to a very nice restaurant, very nice seafood restaurant in the evening. So yeah, it was a great visit, and always keen to look at developing further partnerships in Indonesia. I think when we go through the presentation, you'll see that a lot of the academic focus of Strathclyde is really well aligned to, I think, a lot of the priority areas of the universities in Indonesia. And we already have a number of academic links. So we have 4 partnerships already in place with universities in Indonesia, but we're very keen to expand that and add to the list of universities that we're I'll hand over to Shannon, just maybe do a brief introduction of herself, and then Shannon will start the presentation. Then she will nudge me virtually when she needs me to take over some of the slides as well. But thanks again, and great to see so many of you here today.
Before coming to the explanation, my apologies for interruption. We would invite the moderator for today's discussion, Universitas Negeri Padang's Head of International Office, Mr. Rusnardi Rahmat Putra, PhD Engineering. Silakan, Bapak.
Hello, Mr. Rodi and Ms. Shannon. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Good to see you. Thanks.
Okay.
So I'll pass over to Shannon then to introduce herself, and then we'll start with our presentation.
Thank you so much. What a warm welcome. It's absolutely fantastic and so nice to see all of you here. And for me, personally, a really lovely opportunity to see Azriela again, who was such a presence on our campus and brought so much humor and just energy, and she was just fabulous. She hosted Pledge Day on our campus, and she was absolutely fantastic. If I'm ever asked to hire somebody as a host, I mean, she's fabulous. You probably won't watch the Eurovision Song Contest, but it's a big thing here in the UK and in Europe, and she would give those hosts a run for their money. She was just so great, so charming, funny, informative, well-spoken. So UNP, you've got a great student there. You're very lucky. And we were very lucky to have her on our campus. I am the study abroad recruitment manager within the recruitment and international office at the University of Strathclyde, so one of Rory's team. And I had the pleasure of hosting and helping the IISMA students through the application process to come to the campus. And then also got to see them a few times as well on campus while they were studying. It was a delight. I think we got really lucky. We got the best group. I mean, such a great, funny, energetic group. They were self-sufficient, and I'll tell you a little bit more about their experience on the Strathclyde campus, but we'll kick off by just telling you a little bit more about the university first, for those of you who may not know much about Strathclyde. So the university was actually founded in 1796 as the place of useful learning. And this was very much the ethos of the university or the institute when it was founded, but it remains kind of our main motto going forward. And the idea is that the students are certainly getting the academic grounding from the degree programs that they're undertaking, but they're really getting those key skills that they need to go out into the work world straight after. So actually, we work very close with industry, and you'll find particularly in our engineering degrees and our business degrees that we're constantly interacting with industry. And this can be members of industry coming to present, to give students group projects to do as part of their degree, internships, or just various other interactions. So our students are getting the academic grounding, but also those key skills that they need to head out right into the work world straight after graduation. The university itself is about 23,000 students overall from over 100 different nations. We have won a number of accolades over the years, including the Times Higher Education UK University of the Year in 2019. This is actually the second time we won this award, and we're the only UK university to have won this award twice. We won the Scottish University of the Year 2020 and the Sunday Times Good University Guide in 2020, the Queen's Anniversary Prize in 2020 for higher and further education, and we're fourth in the UK for student satisfaction, which is really important to us. There's a series of different surveys across the UK that are done both for international students and home students to make sure to give them an opportunity to talk about how satisfied they are with their university experience. So to be fourth in the UK is something that we're very proud of. In terms of our location, we are located, as Azriela will tell you, right in the heart of the city center of Glasgow. So students have access to absolutely everything in the city. Just the train stations and the bus station are about a 10-minute walk from the campus, making it really easy for students to travel throughout the city, but also further afield as well. And there's really easy public transportation links to the airport. So even once you arrive in Glasgow, you're not far from the campus. The campus itself is actually quite contained, which is something I like about it, because it means you can walk around the whole thing in about 15 minutes. And I think for students who are staying with us just for a short time, like the IISMA students, it's a fabulous place because it means you can get to know the campus quite quickly, and you can get from your accommodation to any of the academic buildings or the sports center, for example, within a 10-15 minute walk. Glasgow is Scotland's largest city. So there's about 1 million people in Glasgow, and it's definitely Scotland's most cosmopolitan city. We're known for a variety of things, including really excellent shopping, which again is of interest to me, but fantastic nightlife as well. Excellent cafes, pubs, and then we're also very well known for music as well. We're a UNESCO city of music, and there's some fantastic, legendary music venues in the city. So we actually attract international bands, and not for many reasons, but for one of them is really just some of the great venues that we have. Glasgow is also a very sporty city. We hosted the Commonwealth Games in 2014 and the European Championships in 2018. So just to give you a little view of where we are in relationship to the rest of the city, the campus, as you can see, the dark blue bits, is quite a contained campus. So I think Azriela was probably maybe a 5 to 10 minute walk to most of her academic buildings. Lots of the accommodation is located just in the center of the campus, with other accommodation on the kind of peripheral of the edge of the campus. The galleries, museums within the city, again, just an easy walk, but there's excellent public transportation within the city too. So if students are going a little bit further, there's many opportunities to just jump on a bus. We've got an underground system as well. Buchanan Street is the main shopping area of the city, and that's just about a 10-minute walk from the campus. And then Merchant City is a really fun, funky part of the city, and it's just on the edge of the campus. Azriela actually lived in Merchant City, so she had access to all the great cafes and restaurants in that area. Glasgow is also one of the greenest cities in the UK. Glasgow Green would be our biggest green space. There's different music festivals and art festivals that take place in Glasgow Green over the summer. But it's important because Scotland doesn't always get sunshine, that when we do get sunshine, we've got lots of green areas to spill out to, and certainly Glasgow isn't short of those lovely green areas. So the word Strathclyde is actually 2 words put together. Strath, which is the Gaelic word for valley, and Clyde, which is the river that runs right through the city, so making it quite picturesque. So I'm going to hand over to Rory just for the next couple of slides.
Thanks, Shannon. So yeah, I think picking up from Shannon's introductory slides, she talked about Strathclyde being a place of useful learning, and that motto has been in place since the late 1700s. So I think a question that we're always asking ourselves at Strathclyde is, what does this mean? And what does it mean in today's context to say we're a place of useful learning? And I think one of the real exemplars of that mission statement really came to fruition fairly recently in the last few years, where we really invested hugely in the city, along with Glasgow City Council and the Scottish Government. So this slide is explaining a bit more about what we call the GCID, the Glasgow City Innovation District, and this was established in early 2019. Now, what the Innovation District does is it brings together academia, all of our many of our industrial partners, and our research facilities all in the same space in the centre of the city. So this is the first innovation district of its kind in Scotland. There are now 2 within the city, and there are more plans to develop this further over the coming years. But at the moment, what we have in the innovation district is this building that you see in the slide is the kind of anchor building that was opened by the Queen in 2015. So this is the Technology and Innovation Centre. And we have many innovative and exciting research projects going on with industry and with our academics in this building at the moment. So, for example, there's been huge investment in renewable technology in Scotland, particularly production of wind and solar energy. And Strathclyde is a real leader in the development of that. So as well as helping to develop and refine the technologies around renewable energy, one of the projects that's working inside the Innovation District is looking at smart grids and looking at what happens when you're generating surpluses of renewable energy. How do you switch from the kind of older system of energy into new renewable systems while retaining the same level of energy that your population and society needs? So there's a lot of experiments and projects going on around that. Equally, we're doing a lot around pharmaceuticals and medical innovation in the centre as well. So we're working with a lot of the big pharmaceutical companies to look at personalised medicines as well. So there's a lot going on. Instead of getting prescriptions for 5 different medications, coming up with a system where a doctor can prescribe one medicine that would take care of a range of ailments for one patient, for example. So there's a lot that we're doing around pharmaceutical production to lead on that area as well. But that's just a couple of examples, but it's a really exciting area for our students. There are over 70 different companies involved in the Innovation District, and it's expanded to many other parts of the city centre. So when Shannon described the Merchant City area, many of the Innovation District hubs are within that area. And we've also got a media centre that's opened up with various television and broadcasting media companies in the city too. So that's just a flavour of what we're doing around the Innovation District. And similarly, on the campus, on the whole campus area, there's been a huge level of investment. So Strathclyde is making the largest capital investment by 2025 in the UK. So we're investing by the end of 2025, we've invested £1 billion on redeveloping our campus. Some of the facilities that Azriela would have been able to take advantage of, as well as the Technology and Innovation Centre. There's the new Strathclyde Sports Building, which is the top picture there. That's a £31 million facility, which opened in 2018 and is a fantastic space, well utilised by our students. We've got a refurbished library, and one of our flagship buildings opened just a few months ago, which is the bottom picture, and that's an image of our new Learning and Teaching building. So this is a new hub for students. We have lecture theatres, tutorial rooms in there, but we also have a large food court, lots of different study spaces for students as well. And I believe our IISMA students hosted some of the Indonesian National Day celebrations in the building as well, with the help of our student union, which is also based in the building too. And so I'm just going to move on. The last couple of slides from me are just going to give a bit of a flavour, hopefully give everyone an idea of what our academic offerings are at Strathclyde and where we really focus things. And this idea of useful learning and applied learning is really embedded in the way that we teach all of these different subject areas. So we have 4 faculties at Strathclyde: the Faculty of Engineering, which is fairly self-explanatory in terms of the type of courses that will sit within that faculty. Faculty of Science, which includes a broad range of areas. Humanities and Social Sciences, so that's one faculty. And the Strathclyde Business School. And within those faculties, you can see in the second half of the slide here a description of some of the main departments that we have within those faculties. And we'll have many different undergraduate and postgraduate programs that will be offered within those areas. So with engineering, we've got mechanical, electrical, chemical. We do a lot around biomedical engineering, manufacturing, design, architecture in there, which is very, very strong for us. The subject areas that are ranked in the top 10 in the UK include mechanical and electrical engineering. I think we're number 4 in the UK for electrical engineering, for example, which is a very famous department within the university. Within the Faculty of Science, we have one of the top ranked pharmacy programs in the UK, which is very, very popular. And we have a wide range of related biomedical sciences. We're number one in the UK for physics. We're very well ranked and established in areas like mathematics and chemistry as well. So those tend to be our main focuses within the Faculties of Science. But we also have a very strong computing science and artificial intelligence program within that too. And then within humanities and social sciences, we have a law school. We have the largest education department in Scotland. So we train over 50% of all the teachers in Scotland. And the education department also does a lot around professional development and higher education leadership teaching as well, which might be something that would be of interest to university staff, for example, in Indonesia. Very strong for things like media studies, communications, and we have a very large department of politics, government and public policy, which is very big at Strathclyde. And then finally, our business school is one of the only triple accredited business schools in the UK, and we were one of the first in the UK to get that Triple Crown accreditation. So we're accredited by EQUIS, the AACSB, and AMBA. So we've essentially got global accreditation, European accreditation, and American accreditation. And there are only, I think, 54 or 55 business schools globally that have that triple accreditation. So business is very, very big at Strathclyde. We have a very popular and very well developed department looking at tourism and hospitality, as well as all the subject areas you would expect in terms of economics, accounting, marketing, logistics, business and management as well. And at the bottom there, you can see in terms of the most recent complete university guide, we came out number one in accounting and finance, forensics, and speech and language therapy. And the final slide, and Shannon will come in to, I suppose, demonstrate this in more detail in relation to how we supported the IISMA students from Indonesia most recently. But student support is really central to what we do at Strathclyde. So I think Shannon in her first slides gave a profile of the fact that we have over 20,000 students, but over 100 different nationalities represented on campus. So we have a very high volume of international students that study with us at Strathclyde from a very wide range of countries. And so because of that, we're used to providing a lot of support for students coming in from different cultures, different backgrounds, and settling into a new city and campus environment. So we provide on-campus housing for visiting students. We do a lot of continuing support and development on the academic side, but also on the support side with students. So we have in-sessional English language programs which students can take, which are complementary when they study at Strathclyde, as well as more general study skills classes, which are particularly useful, you know, in terms of bridging sometimes those academic cultural differences when students arrive from different countries. A career service that students can access during their studies, but also after their studies as well. Specific international student support, and of course the support you'd expect in terms of student counselling, disability and well-being. And the well-being side is something we've invested a lot in, particularly during the pandemic, when certainly during the initial lockdowns in the UK, students were studying online predominantly and required a bit more support to get through that period as well. And lots of clubs and societies to join as well. And we have many links with the Indonesian Student Society, for example, in Glasgow, which is a great resource for Indonesian students coming to study with us. I will hand back across to Shannon to talk about the IISMA experience.
So we were lucky enough to welcome 19 IISMA students to our campus. And I think the other nice thing was that it was a very diverse group of students. So they came literally from all over Indonesia. And the students got an opportunity, obviously, to come to Scotland, enjoy Scottish culture, Strathclyde and the campus, but it was a really nice opportunity for the students to also meet fellow country people from a different part of their own country, which I think was probably nice. It was a really tight group. They got very close and did lots of traveling together, would split off and do various things, but I think it was a group that got along very well. The students all had very strong academic backgrounds and exceptional English, and that made their transition to the Strathclyde campus really easy. The students performed really well. I've had a look at some of their performances, and they all did very well on the campus. As per the IISMA program, while the majority were studying business or engineering, the majority also chose to take a variety of subjects across the university. So we offered them classes from across all 4 of the faculties. And many of them, for example, took an intro to journalism or communication class. And there was a computer class, an intro to programming, I think, that was very, very popular too. It just gave students an opportunity to take something a little bit different that they couldn't take at their home university. So it was and IISMA is very encouraging of students to, take advantage of looking at classes that they couldn't take at their home university, which was wonderful. And I think we had a couple who went back and now wanted to, combine their degree in engineering with their new passion for journalism. So we'll see. That would be great. The IISMA students lived on campus. So they lived just in Merchant City, so right on the edge of the campus, which was great because it meant they had direct access to the campus across the street, but they also had one of the best parts of the city right there on their doorstep. They lived in flat style or apartment style accommodation. So they had their own rooms, but shared kitchens, living room, dining room facilities, which was really good for socializing. It meant that, they could share their fabulous cooking abilities or not so fabulous cooking abilities. It depends, although having tried food made by the students, it was excellent. So I think we got a few professional chefs, blooming as well. And most of the students were mixed with other Strathclyde students too. So it meant that they got to meet students who, not only in their classes, but also in the student accommodation as well. The IISMA students joined a bunch of different clubs and societies, which allowed them to then participate in different events that were going on campus, but also to take some trips too, some weekend trips. This was certainly a traveling group of students. There were some restrictions in place, as there are throughout the world because of COVID, but the students took advantage of absolutely everything they could do in the UK, which was wonderful. So they went to one of the most northern points in the country, the Isle of Skye, and they went quite early on in their semester. And then their time with us sort of crescendoed with a trip to London, right at the end of their few months on campus. And they pretty much went everywhere in between and took advantage of different day trips to Stirling and Edinburgh, just to explore some other cities within Scotland as well. They celebrated St. Andrew's Day, which is our national day in Scotland, and a good opportunity to learn a little bit more about Scotland and see some kilts and eat some haggis. And then visited numerous castles as well. I think Scotland has something like over 2,000 castles that you can still go and visit. So there's lots of castles to be seen in Scotland. And then just to tell you a little bit more about what we offer for Indonesian students who are on the campus, we've got the Indonesian Alumni Association, which all of our IISMA students can also join now that they've left the campus. But it's a group of alumni who are well connected. The biggest members are probably located in Jakarta, but they have a series of events. Some have been online more recently, but they have in-person events as well. And just a way to stay connected with the Strathclyde community once you've left the campus, and stay connected, with other Indonesians who have studied at Strathclyde. We also have the Strathclyde Indonesian Society on campus. I'm not sure if any of the IISMA students joined or not, but they have different social gatherings, celebrations and trips throughout the year, but they're also heavily involved in the planning of Festival Indonesia, which is an annual event hosted in the Greater Glasgow area by the Greater Glasgow Indonesian Society. So the Strathclyde Indonesian Society is very connected with that larger group. And then finally, I just wanted to highlight two postgraduate students, because I talked about IISMA students who would have been studying at the undergraduate level. But we've had some really exceptional Indonesian students on the Strathclyde campus, and two at the postgraduate level were Tiffany and Davina. So Tiffany actually completed her PhD in design management at Strathclyde after she had already completed her master's on our campus as well. And she's currently working with us as a knowledge exchange fellow. So worth checking out her profile. And then Davina is completing her MSc on our campus in the business school as well. So just interesting to see two examples of, really fantastic, bright, successful Indonesians on our campus, and the Indonesian culture that we already have on our campus and hope to continue. So that is the end of the presentation. So I'll just stop there. I don't know.
Sorry, Shannon, I was just gonna come in just at the very end and just briefly, because I know we're quite short of time, just for a couple of minutes, briefly describe some of the modes of collaboration that we are engaged with international partners, because I thought it might be useful just to give people a flavour of how we work with different universities in different countries, because that was one of the areas maybe not covered. So I think just to give people a very brief overview, there's lots of different areas that we collaborate with internationally. We talked about the number of international students that study at Strathclyde, and some of that is facilitated through academic and university partnerships that we have in different countries around the world. In Indonesia at the moment, we have 4 partnerships, but they're quite broad-based MOU partnerships. So there is some research activity which underpins this. But broadly speaking, a lot of the projects that were described at the beginning of the meeting, things like student mobility projects and staff mobility, are very much things that we can look at and are interested in at Strathclyde. We also have very successful partnerships in lots of different countries where we have things like dual degree programs, joint PhD degree programs as well. We have research funding that we pool and share with different institutions to look at different priority areas. And we also have relationships where we're involved in upskilling staff from different educational settings and organizations. So for example, we work very closely with a number of secondary schools in Pakistan, and we provide a lot of training and support for the teachers that go through into those areas as well. And we also look at this in terms of higher education leadership. We have PhD programs which can help upskill academics. So there are lots of different areas, and we can look at this on a university-wide basis, or what we also do quite often is look at it on a faculty basis. And that's where we can bring in colleagues from specific faculty areas to look at an initiative within engineering or within humanities, for example, if that's of interest. So I will stop there. I just thought it was useful just to give a very brief flavour of the type of modes of collaboration that can be looked at.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Rory and Shannon. It's a very interesting presentation, and then you inform very detailed on Strathclyde University faculty and some of the program. It's very interesting for us, and then is the great one to hear that Mr. Rory has been to Padang before in 2016, and then we wait Ms. Shannon in the future. Please come to our university. So we also have some program we can offer you to come. And then now meeting, we will proceed to discussion. And then the theme of our discussion today is how to build a partnership among university in Indonesia and Strathclyde University. And we invite our participant, our partner, University Indonesia, to send or inform about the future program that we can offer to Strathclyde University. And we invite our participant, maybe can give idea, question, and then you also can write down a chat box, and then we will deliver it to Shannon and Rory. Please, if you have any question and ideas.
Rusnardi,
Yes.
can I ask her a question?
Okay, please, Pak.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Pak Rusnardi, and also good afternoon, yeah, maybe for Shannon and Rory. My name is Irfan. I'm from ITS. I think we are one of the universities in Indonesia that we have partnerships. Yeah, we have an MOU between our institutions. And last year, we also had one student sent to Strathclyde for the IISMA program. And my question will be on how to fill our partnership with more activities. So I see one highlight of the presentation today is mobility, student exchange, student study abroad to Strathclyde. I noticed one very interesting slide though, where you mentioned about Glasgow City Innovation District. So can you explain a bit more about this? Currently in ITS Surabaya, we're also having this program to develop our so-called Science Technopark, linking the university research with the industry. So if it's possible, so we would like to learn more about any success stories in this Glasgow City Innovation District. And the more important question, which I think is more relevant to all of us here, is to how we can build the connection in the faculty level. So if you want to be engaged in research, what is the best way to go ahead? And is there any interest from faculty members, for example, to maybe give online guest lectures to our students, maybe like that? Yeah. So those are my questions. Thank you very much, Rusnardi and everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Irwansyah. Maybe Mrs. Shannon or Mr. Rory, sorry, Mr. Rory, give a response or answer the question. Yes, please.
Sure. Yeah. No. I'll pick this one up. But yeah, I mean, I think I think in terms of the kind of innovation district conversation, we have a team within Strathclyde, the industry engagement team, who kind of lead on the links that we have with industrial partners and have kind of been the lead on the innovation district. And I think if it's of interest to simply find out more about it, then we could facilitate a conversation, because we've talked about there's so many of these innovation districts springing up in various different cities around the world, and we have had discussions about it. Would be good to have a bit more of a network about how they build, because it's still new for us as well. We're still kind of developing it with the city and looking at the sort of second phase of it as well. So I think that's something we can maybe just keep in touch about directly, and happy to kind of set up something if that would be useful. On the kind of wider point of increasing collaboration, building on, particularly with ITS and Strathclyde being existing partners, I think this is always a really good question, because the easy bit is signing and establishing the starting point, the MOU, and sometimes these agreements just kind of go in digital filing cabinets, and not much happens beyond that. So I think we're always interested in trying to kind of build activity up within those agreements. I think the idea of lectures, guest lectures, is a really good one. I think we could also look at potentially having some workshops, maybe between the academics on both sides of the faculties, to look at where we have connections and where there might be interest in developing research or teaching collaborations as well. That's something that's worked well. What I would say more broadly, which is kind of relevant for everyone on the call, is just before the pandemic hit, we were actually working with the Chamber of Commerce in Indonesia to visit the country and bring a large number of academics from across Strathclyde to Indonesia. And the plan was to visit various cities, visiting our current partners, but also looking at new partners. That initiative obviously has been on hold because of the pandemic, but it's something we're hoping we're going to be able to revisit. And I'm very hopeful, although you can never be certain at the moment, but I'm hopeful that we will be able to start traveling this year, and that we'll be able to put plans in place to actually have that delegation visit happening in person later this year as well. So I think in the meantime, we can look at these virtual exchanges, virtual kind of conversations. So what I'll do is I'll just put my email address maybe in the chat, and we can maybe follow up directly about ITS and a kind of faculty level conversation.
Okay, Mr. Rory. So Pak Irwansah, so we can conduct some activities in your future. So Mr. Pak Irwansah can contact Mr. Rory, and Mr. Rory maybe can write down the email address in the chat box. And thank you very much again to Mr. Rory. And then the next is Bu Deni from Surakarta. Time is yours, Bu.
Thank you, Pak Rusnardi. Hi, everyone. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Deni. I'm from Universitas Muhammadiyah Surakarta in Central Java. So it's a very nice presentation from Strathclyde. So I work with some people from chemical and process engineering department a while ago in Strathclyde, and I was really impressed with their public engagement activities. So one of my colleagues from Strathclyde did a public engagement in collaboration with some university in Colombia, if I remember correctly. So my question is it also possible if we do some collaboration in public engagement? The one that people in chemical and process engineering did was mostly introducing science to underprivileged communities or to schools, such of things. So if that's possible, I think we can arrange activities like doing such as short courses or any demonstration that is that's purposed to introduce science or any university subjects to general member of publics. So that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Deni, for the question. Maybe Mrs. Shannon or Mr. Rory can give a response, please.
Yeah, I can. I mean, I think you know what, you're kind of the idea of sort of community engagement, that sort of engagement really resonates very strongly with us at Strathclyde, because we actually do a very similar initiatives in Glasgow and across Scotland. So we have a big focus on what we call widening access, and that initiative is something we work very, very closely with the Scottish Government on, and it's really about us approaching communities within Scotland where there isn't a lot of participation in higher education, where there will be generations who have not studied at university before, and maybe their children are looking at this for the first time, and there is a lot of additional support that is required to, I think, change the mindset sometimes that this is possible, this is a potential avenue. So I think it's not something that I'm aware of that we've really done on an international scale. It's been very much a kind of localized effort within Scotland. But I think it's definitely worth a follow-up conversation, because there could be things and insights that we can share of what's worked. And obviously it will be in a very different context, because There are some similarities, but there'll be obviously, I would expect, differences between Scotland and Indonesia and the different challenges. But yeah, certainly, again, I think follow up with myself initially, and we can maybe have another conversation just so I can be clear on who the best people would be. But it's probably something, there'll be people within engineering, within chemical engineering, who will have some involvement in these activities. And there is an engineering academy, for example, that we have. So we run this program for high school students from areas where there's not much participation in applying to university, and obviously engineering can be more difficult for students. So they do a lot of work through the engineering academy to get these students through, build their skills and confidence during the final year of school before transitioning to university. So I'll find the best person, but we can pick it up after the meeting and discuss that further.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bu Denny, and then Mr. Rory. And then the next question is from Mr. Abror, Universitas Negeri Padang. Time is yours, Mr. Abror.
Okay, very much, Pak Rosnardi. Okay, it's nice to meet Nan and Rory here. Actually, I got information about Strathclyde University a long time ago, because one of my supervisor for my MSc graduated from Strathclyde University, but now he is the governor of West Nusa Tenggara right now. Yeah, as the governor. Yeah, your alumni. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yep. Okay. Actually, Glasgow is a good, a nice city for the students also. But in here, I want to ask you about the program. Maybe we can expand. It's not only IISMA program, but also the program for the lecturer visiting. Rory said before as the answer of Pak Irfan Shah questions. Is it possible for us also to make a joint research or joint publication between universities in Indonesia, between universities in Indonesia and Strathclyde University, especially for UNP? It is nice for us, yeah, to get collaboration with you. And sorry for my background. Actually, I'm from Faculty of Economics in Indonesia. Actually, economic faculty consists of School of Business and also School of Economics. I saw in your presentation in your business school, you have economics school. Maybe we can arrange the collaboration for the next for student, but also for lecturers, maybe visiting lecturers. Maybe you can your staff can come to our university as the visiting professor or visiting lecturers, and we can share our knowledge and also share our culture here. Maybe that's the question. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, yeah, I mean, I would just respond very in a very straightforward manner and say yes, of course we would be interested in looking at joint research and also kind of staff mobility in terms of, you know, guest lecturers and that kind of thing. At the moment, we're still not really traveling, but I think the situation is improving a lot in the UK and throughout Europe, and I expect that we'll hopefully be moving into a phase where we're traveling more, hopefully later in the spring. So we're hopeful that kind of March, April time, we might be able to start seeing staff traveling a bit more, and this will help with some of this engagement. I mean, the virtual alternatives are good, and obviously this meeting's going well. You know, it's a good way to engage, and I think we've learned a lot from this as well, and there'll be things we want to continue. But I think, you know, you're right about that cultural exchange, which you can't really replicate on Zoom. So, you know, getting people actually over and vice versa, you know, some people from your team coming over to Scotland, I think would be great. So I think, again, it's probably one for the business school specifically, and looking at maybe exploring which areas within economics, and then looking to connect you with the right people at Strathclyde to talk about it initially. But yeah, I mean, we're always interested in these opportunities for more collaboration.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Abror and Rory, for your response and for your question from Mr. Abror. And I would like to inform Ms. Shannon and Mr. Rory that UNP has some programs like visiting researcher, and then we invite lecturer to come to university or university to give lecture. So currently we can do by online, so virtual. And then so we have program for this one. So we will continue contacting you in the future, and then you already wrote your email address there, and then we'll contact you soon as possible. And then from a chat box, there are two more questions from Yahya Trisandi from Erlangga University. He said that we received information about the touring scheme where your student could go abroad to study. Is there any interesting from University of Strathclyde to form a partnership with Indonesian university under touring scheme? If yes, what kind of the program do you prefer to most? AG is student staff exchange or research? Thanks. Thank you. We said that. So maybe Mrs. Senon or Mr. Rudy can.
Yeah, I can answer that one. So within my office, I look after the study abroad students, so the students who come to the Strathclyde campus, but my colleague, Allison, works with students who are outbound, so students from Strathclyde who are going to international universities. And she would look after the touring funding. So you can certainly send me an email. I put my details in the chat, and I can have a conversation with her to see what the interest is in Indonesia. And that way, you know, she can start a dialogue with you and let you know if there is an interest. And specifically what types of programs students are looking for.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Shannon. And then I think Mr. Chaya can hear what you said, and we hope he will contact you soon as possible for this program, and then we can contact each other and then give him detailed information. And then the second question is from Rian from Universitas Mercubuana. He said that you know us, university in Indonesia are happy to send our student to your university as outbound student, but also we are very happy if some of your students come to Indonesia. My question is what thing to attract them to here, or what kind of collaboration to attract your student to come here? Maybe, for example, cultural exchange and the course. Is it possible?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a large number of international exchange programs, and as the previous question referenced, there's also the Turing program, which is in its kind of initial phase of rollout across the UK, which is going to change, I think, a little bit around where we focus student exchange programs, because obviously we've come out of the European Erasmus program, and the Turing program will have some European focus, but it will be more of a global scheme by the looks of it. I think for our students, we have sent students out to Indonesia before. We had a group, I don't know if you can remember the details, Shannon, but there was about 20 or so students, and these were actually some of our widening access students that went out to Jakarta, I think, it was a shorter program. It was a summer program. And that was very successful. I think looking at it, a lot of it would be looking at the university, so looking at UMB, looking at the programs available, and looking at where there are capacity opportunities within our exchange program. So within some of our faculties, it's quite strict around the numbers that can go on exchange and the number of partners we have, and they may already be oversubscribed, for example, in some areas. Whereas there are other areas where maybe there is more flexibility. So I think it's looking at that, first of all, in terms of the academics. From a student perspective, I think there would be a lot of interest in going to Indonesia in terms of the awareness of the country. And obviously there are some very attractive, areas of the country. And I think from a Scottish perspective, anywhere that's warm, anywhere that has warm weather is always attractive to us as a change from our constant cold climates that we have here. So I think there's some work that we could do around that. But I think Southeast Asia generally is a quite a popular region. I think our students would be quite open-minded about it. I think it would just be about finding the academic area, because I know there are some capacity issues or constraints around some academic areas. So it would just be more looking at that, I think. Don't know, Shannon, if you might have.
Yeah, no, exactly. And anybody who is interested can certainly drop me an email. But it's the last couple of questions have presented a good question for me to go away and discuss with my exchange colleagues who would look after the students who were going out, and to just explore that a little bit further. So that's quite exciting, and I will certainly do that. But for any questions surrounding sending students to Indonesia, certainly feel free to email me. I'm happy to look into that.
May I drop a quick question, Shannon?
Sure.
Hi, my name is Suryani from Universitas Putra in Surabaya. I would like to know, since our university have an immersion program, my student, I think, would love to have an immersion program, a short program to go to your university in Glasgow. What do you think? Is it possible to do that? Do we need to have specific agreement on that, or where should I start? Thank you, Jan.
So for like short-term study abroad, and just one way as opposed to back and forth?
Yes,
yeah,
one way.
Those definitely email me, and that's absolutely something that I'm totally happy to look into. So for sure, yeah. But we don't have to, if you're just sending students to us, we don't necessarily need an agreement in place. We certainly have students who come to us independently. But that is if you were interested in setting up a kind of standard study abroad agreement where students just came to the Strathclyde campus, we've got one of those as well, and we can certainly explore that. But yep, definitely contact me. I'm the right person for that. I'm happy to chat to you about it.
Okay, thank you. I would like to have your email.
I'll just put it in earlier, but I think there's been a lot of chat since, so I'll just put it in again.
Right.
That's good. A lot of chat is always good.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Suryani. Yes, okay, no problem. And then the next question is from Mrs. Arin from Ukrida. Time is your Bu Arin.
Thank you, Pak. Thank you, Pak Rusnadi. I'm sorry it take a little bit longer for me to turn on the mic and the camera. I think my laptop and Zoom got tired of many meetings. Okay, so hello, Rory and Shannon. It's really nice to meet you. I'm from Krida Wacana Christian University in Jakarta. While working on in-person mobility program, our international office within this year, we also look for a program that focus on like internationalization from home. We do hope that the situation gets better, but we try to look for more innovative ways of bringing international experience to our students. So is there any online courses available for our students? And also, do you have any like special tailored short course program that are available for our students? For your information, our government also provide grant scheme for international credit transfer. It's more or less similar to IISMA, but international credit transfer is for the online program. So we are wondering if you have those choices or possibilities for our students. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I think we can probably both contribute to this one. Yeah, I think in terms of the kind of main way that we are teaching, we've obviously kind of moved from a phase during the pandemic where we've been teaching initially almost entirely online at the beginning because of the kind of requirements to do so. We're now in a phase where most of our delivery is what we call blended or hybrid learning, where we have some of the teaching still delivered online, but we are offering face-to-face teaching. So students are getting tutorials and smaller classes in person and labs and things in person, but larger scale lectures online. We expect that to continue for this semester, but hopefully for next semester starting in September, we'll be delivering most of our teaching fully face-to-face. That being said, we've always offered some online only programs, so that there is a suite of programs that we deliver in terms of through Strathclyde Online, and that has been increasing over the last few years, as it has with a lot of universities around the world. So there will be some off-the-shelf courses that are just fully delivered online, which we can share with you. And then in terms of the kind of, I suppose, the student mobility side, we have been exploring virtual exchanges. I know that the business school and our Faculty of Humanities has had these virtual exchange programs in place. Shannon, I don't know if they're going to continue or if that was more just a temporary response to the pandemic. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that was a temporary response, but saying that, you're absolutely right to ask that question, because there is now a new market for exactly that. And interestingly, lots of universities or governments are choosing to put any funding that they have into online options, and because it opens up opportunities for students who maybe can't go abroad for several reasons, but still allows them that international opportunity. And so it's something I've looked at a little bit, because we've been developing a summer school on our campus, which we have not yet been able to run, given it was supposed to launch exactly when COVID hit. But interestingly, one of the summer programs that we were looking at was one that we've run previously for specific groups, and it's a forensics summer program where you're looking at kind of the science behind like crime scenes, but it's a very sciencey based. So rather than like CSI investigation, it's looking at the chemistry maybe behind the crime scene. It's fabulous and very interesting and works really well in person. But when COVID hit, the program is offered as although it's an individual summer class, it's also the kind of content for the course is part of one of our MSc programs in forensic science. And the department found all of a sudden that they had to be able to offer the program online. So they sent the students these fantastic chemistry kits, basically, to explore the forensics and do it in their own home. But it made the department realize that actually for the most part, they could do these programs online. So although we haven't developed many short programs for online just yet, it is something that actually we're looking at, and specifically this forensics one, I'm working with the chemistry department. So we could see other programs come about. And I think you'll find generally across the board, if you are talking to other universities who partner with IISMA, that there will be lots more online opportunities. So I suppose, as Rory said, there are some that are developed specifically to be online, but certainly within short-term kind of study abroad options, that's something that I'm looking into I wouldn't have anything just yet, but if you came back to me in a few months' time, I might have much more.
All right. So probably we'll just share our proposal on that program and see if your side make room and possibility for this. And I think that can be one way to give more opportunity for our students. Yeah. Thank you very much, Rory, Shannon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pak Rusnadi, thank you.
Yes, welcome, Bu. And then Shannon and Rory, there is one question from our participant sent to me about, from the beginning of discussion, we have a plan to conduct some activities together. Need we make agreement first? If we need make agreement first, how the procedure?
Yeah, I think there's obviously been a lot of different conversations with different institutions. So I think when we have the more detailed, direct conversations, we can then figure out, I suppose, what the mechanics need to be. I mean, in terms of the governance of things, there's slightly different directions things can take depending on what the initiative is. So if it was a student mobility initiative, if we're deciding, well, we want to partner on this basis, then as Shannon has mentioned, we have a direct study abroad agreement, which we use, which is for students simply coming in for a semester. We also have an exchange agreement, which is for, the two-way flow, students going back and forth. So if it was around that, we would simply be advancing one of those agreements depending on the situation. I think we also even have a combination agreement where we sometimes have agreements where both things are happening, depending on the area. So that would be one avenue. If it's things like research or staff exchange, that type of thing, we may or may not need an agreement. I don't think necessarily at the beginning we would need to go through anything overly formal. I mean, it might be that, if we're looking at things like some of the suggestions around a virtual lecture or things like that, I mean, we don't really need to go through a paperwork process. I think if there's interest in doing that, I think that can just happen. And then if it's starting to build, we may think it's appropriate to then develop an MOU or a wider kind of agreement to reflect the fact that we're working together. But and also, we can do these things in parallel as well sometimes. So yeah, I think Strathclyde's, we like to think we're quite an agile university to work with as well. And the important thing for us is the outcome, is actually the doing, what the partnership's about. So we wouldn't want to kind of hold things up or hold things back because we're going through legal departments and all the rest of it back and forth. We may need to do a bit of that, but I think we don't want to hold things up unnecessarily.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rory. And then this very interesting topic, we can see many questions addressed to you both. And then the next question is from Pak Kinandi, Pak Kinanhita from UP. I'm sorry if I wrong gender. Okay, please, Pak.
Okay. Good afternoon. Yeah, so sorry because my connection is low, so I decided to turn off my camera. Okay, so let me introduce myself. I'm Kinandita from University of Education in Indonesia, which is in Bandung. And my question is, one of the requirement for IISMA program is a recommendation letter. And I've asked some awardees for this, and they said every university requirement is different, right? For the recommendation letter. And some university just asked the recommendation from our home uni, which is in Indonesia, but the others the university from abroad give us a recommendation letter that we should fill in. So how about University of Strathclyde? Is University Strathclyde will give us a recommendation or just from our home university? And I'm sorry for the second questions. Is there any scholarship purely from University of Strathclyde for student exchange program? Yeah, for student in Indonesia. Thank you.
So,
sorry.
No, go on, you go, Shannon.
Just so for the IISMA program, for the letter of recommendation, it's just from your home university. We normally ask it to be from either somebody in the international office who's, just supporting you and saying, yes, the student's performing well so far in their degree program at their home university, and we're happy to recommend them for the IISMA program and for study at Strathclyde. Or it could be somebody, a lecturer or professor who's taught you during your degree program. So it's somebody to just say that, you're academically coping well with your degree program back home, and that you're certainly being recommended by your home university for participation to study abroad. Does that answer that first question okay?
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
But it won't be a form to fill in. It'll be the whoever is doing the recommendation for you can sort of write their own free text. So we don't have
it's just from our home university, which is in Indonesia, right? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And your second part of that was about scholarship. So what happens with a student who studies with us on a direct incoming basis for a semester, so similar to the IISMA students, is we already have established a lower fee for that, essentially. So if you were looking at our website, you would see that the fee to do many of our programs in engineering, for example, would be up to almost £18,000 a year for a full year. So if you were to split that in half, the fee would be about £9,000. But we don't charge that fee for students who are visiting, because they're not graduating. They're coming for a shorter experience, and so we already have a kind of discounted fee arrangement essentially for those students that come in. So in a sense, there is an automatic scholarship there. It's not a full scholarship, but it covers the quite a bit of the fee. So Shannon, I think the fee at the moment is £7,500. Yeah. So that's quite a bit lower than what it would be if we were charging the pro rata rate for coming on a semester as well. Within that, though, we also work directly with universities, and we can discuss the financials as part of our direct partnership initiatives as well. So we do sometimes have scholarships essentially applied to specific partners. So they're not kind of for any student coming from any institution, only from kind of partner universities with Strathclyde. So that's another area that we can look at. We don't have it in all cases, but we can discuss that as well.
Oh, okay. So because we're not graduated from Strathclyde, so it will be free, right, for another students around the world.
No, well, there's two. Yeah, if you're coming on if we were exchanging students, so if we were on an exchange agreement, then we wouldn't be charging fees, because we would be sending students, we'd be expecting the fees to be cancelled out usually with an exchange agreement. If it's a study abroad agreement, that means a student is coming from Indonesia to Strathclyde, but we are not necessarily sending anybody to replace the students in Indonesia. Then there would be a fee, but as I say, the fee is reduced for the semester, and quite often when we work with a university, we'll also add maybe a specific partnership scholarship, but there would be some level of fee still in place under that arrangement.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Nanti. And then any question from our participant from the
Yes, Pak Rus, one more time.
Okay, no problem, Bu.
It's for Rory or Shannon. So any time schedule, if you guys already be free to go to Indonesia, we are in Universitas Putra welcoming you. We have 3 apartment buildings to offer for accommodation, and I think my department can take you to a specific area like Madura Island. It would be so good. So anytime I think a Strathclyde University want to send staff or a student to Indonesia, Jawa Timur, East Java, I can also arrange with other university in Surabaya to visit and surrounding. Yeah, I think welcome to Indonesia, welcome to East Java then.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Very
much.
generous.
We near Bali, so near Bali. So I think it would a lot of sunshine for you guys.
Yes.
Sounds great. At the moment, I think
amazing.
the temperature is maybe 7 or 8 degrees, something
Oh
like
my God,
that. Sounds lovely. Somewhere a bit warmer. But no, I think likewise we would extend. I think we hope to be able to visit Indonesia soon. So we'll definitely follow up when we have our plans, a little bit more well made. But likewise, if any of you are looking to visit Scotland at any point, or the UK, then we would obviously welcome you to Strathclyde and welcome you to Glasgow. So you get a warm welcome from us as well.
Fantastic. I would like to see the bagpipe concert then.
There's bagpipes, lots of hills and glens, lots of great countryside, and Glasgow's a very vibrant city as well. So we'll make sure you see everything of the culture of Scotland.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Pak Rus.
Okay, you're welcome, bro. And then when you visit East Java first, and then second one, please visit West Sumatra too. So we can invite you to come to our university. So we so we have some programs too, and then we will take you to the best place in the world.
Batam is very good.
Yes, as you know, Mentawai Island is very beautiful island and very great for surfing. It is a very good place. So when you visit, don't hesitate to contact me, and then we arrange for you.
Sounds amazing. I want to travel again. Sounds awesome.
Yes, so as you know, Indonesia has many beautiful islands. Not only beautiful ladies, but beautiful island too.
It sounds like we're going to have to plan for a long trip. I think this is going to be several weeks we're going to need for this. So we'll start blocking out the diary.
Okay, any questions before we close the session? Because it's very interesting topic, and we hope we can one time to go to Strathclyde University. I never been before, but I've been some countries, European countries like France, Lisbon, some, but not, but haven't been to Scotland. Any questions, Bapak Ibu? Okay, if no question, I think it's enough. It's very beautiful, very interesting topic, and we hope we can conduct the real activity in the future by the Shannon and Rory email already wrote in the chat box, and it is to participants. And then we would like to say thank you for Shannon and Rory for the positive response. We hope we can do our activity in the future, and then we will contact you through the email in the future too. And we hope we can conduct the real activity. So the first one, we can meet in Indonesia in the future. Okay, again, thank you, Mr. Rory and Shannon, and Bapak Ibu who join this meeting, and we can also give, and then we will give it back to Aurel. Ms. Aurel.
Right.
Thank you, Ms.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as this discussion now finally over, I hardly need to announce that our meeting has to end right now. So I, as the master of ceremony today, would apologize for every mistakes I've done in this meeting while bridging this meeting. And I thank to all the participants who were able to attend this meeting by saying, Alhamdulillah, thank you for your attention and see you in the next occasion. Thank you for Shen and also Rory for coming to this meeting. And I will thank for all the universities in Indonesia who make the schedules only for this meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Rory.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you,
Pak
Rose.
Terima kasih,
Thanks.
Bapak Ibu.
Great to meet you all. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Pak Bror.